Everyone. Today is the 25th of March. This is the morning plan your trade video. Sorry guys, just got up a little bit ago, kind of super early. Gonna get rid of some of these lines. And we are looking at a topping pattern today. So we look over here at the SPY cycle patterns. We're looking at a topping pattern. We've moved into accumulation. We're looking at a flat down, then a breakaway and carryover, then a carryover and counter trend mode. I kind of believe that what we're looking at here is this rolling kind of a top. So, if I were to come in here to hourly, spread this apart, and try to give you kind of an example of what I think is going to happen. So the SPY is moving up. The ES is moving up right now. I'm looking at kind of a topping pattern. So what I'm looking at here is in that 580 to 582 area up in here to roll into a top into tomorrow, rolling into a flat down, and then rolling into some downward trending in through the end of the week. I don't believe we're going to get into aggressive downward trending. I don't believe we're going to see a big breakdown, meaning 30 points lower. So we're going to be looking at a fairly solid weakening downward trend, I think, starting around the 27th. I think we got to get through this 25th top and this 26th sideways flat day, which again is right here, this flat down day. Then we move into the breakdown right over here around the 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Now, that's going to play out again for the QQQ as well. So we're going to be rolling potentially through this kind of a rolling pattern, really trying to potentially fill this gap. And like I said, move into some flagging formation. So there's the gap. We also have this lower gap to fill. So understand that the next big move is a rollover and a move possibly back down to 550 or lower, as I'm suggesting back over here. So you can see that we look like we're going to potentially move into that lower flagging formation into early April. And I think that's going to be our real rollover. We're going to be looking at a fairly solid rollover of trend right over in this area, this topping pattern. And it's, likely going to be happening in the next 2 or 3 days and then rolling downward into this low. We may find support around, 550 a bit back over here after we close these gaps. But ultimately, I think we're going to come down into this 530, 528, 535 area, really kind of reaching this low back over here and back over here. Get rid of that. So we're looking at kind of a broad rolling trend here. Watch these gaps. Watch for this breakdown. Today should be a little bit of a nice upward day. Maybe not, maybe 579, 578, 577. But, if we get up into 580, 582, 583, that's going to be pretty well overextended, guys. So, consider, anything above 580, which is really right here. Consider that very overbought. Okay. All right, let's go to the QQQ. Same type of setup. We're rolling through here. Got a lot of lines. Let's clear some of these out. That's my drawing of the top. There's my drawing of the range. All right, so we're looking at an hourly chart here. We've got our gaps. We've got our rollover. So again, we're looking at kind of a roll up 596 or 496, maybe 500, rolling and then rolling into that downtrend around April. So there we go on our rolling type of a trend. We have our gapping pattern right here. And we have that big gap right down here. And again, moving into Q1 earnings for 2025. And so we're going to be looking at, revised earnings. That's the way I think this whole thing is going to play out, is that, we've gone through a period of fairly solid growth because of government spending, obviously, and economic stimulus. And now I think we're kind of in this contraction mode. So, as we roll into this downward trend, I want you to be aware that, the real phase here is that we're going to continue to likely contract downward into a flagging formation. This was our flag, and we will likely continue to contract downward into a rolling flagging trend here, and then a secondary rolling sideways trend here, flagging. And like I said, so, when you really get down to all of this, guys, we're going to be rolling through multiple potential flagging patterns, setting up a fairly deep retracement here that's going to play out as my expanding wedge. So when you come down here, I've already got it drawn here in red. Make it dark red. Make it dark red. There's my expanding wedge rolling right down into these levels. So this 455 level is not going to be, it's really going to be a target level to the downside. And then you have to remember that we also have that middle level here that plays out as kind of an intermediate support level. Coming potentially right down here. Let me come check that real quick. Yeah, right across here and here. Yeah, so that gives us kind of our middle level. Might try to lower it just a bit. Right in that area. So that really puts the QQQ upper range right around 495, call it 491. That puts us up in that upper range around 491. We're right at 490 right now, 491. So, we could really start to top out very early in trading today. And that leads me to believe that, like I said, we're 491 pre-market. That's right up in this area, 490, 491.65. So when we get up here, this is where the topping pattern is, and that's 496. My apologies. 496.65. Let's call it 496. So really, you want to kind of watch that 496 area as the topping pattern. So again, we're still getting that topping pattern over here. And, we're in general bearish trending with a bit of accumulation as I read as flagging. I think we break down into this early April area, end of March. So we basically have today and tomorrow, and I think that's going to be a nice rollover top into downward trending. Okay, so now let's go to the gold cycle pattern, which is a Harami inside pattern. We had a pretty good rotation yesterday, and we were getting some upward trending. We're pulling back a little bit right now. Let's come over to the daily. A Harami inside pattern on a daily is going to stay rather neutral right in this area, right in this previous bar's range. And same thing will happen over here. We're already kind of outside that. There's a little bit of a Harami pattern there. So we'll see if this moves back down into yesterday's range on the body-to-body basis. But, we're looking at a Harami inside pattern, then moving into an inside breakaway, then this pop pattern on the 27th. We need to see how this plays out because this has been a pretty good rally overnight. I mean, you can see here back on the hourly chart, silver and gold have both pretty much rallied off of those lows. Silver's making a bigger move. You can see it's come up off of these highs where gold has still struggled off of these same highs. I think that if we see a big move to the upside in gold and silver, we're going to be watching these levels. We're already kind of above those levels there. We could get that rally phase. We could expand very sharply to the upside, 31.20, 31.50 on gold with a big explosive move to the upside. We need to see how things play out, what happens with the dollar, and particularly watch this silver move. This silver move is really quite nice right now. And, if silver does lead the market, that's going to give us a pretty good indication that, we're rolling somewhat aggressively to the upside. So we need to see how this plays and kind of watch this next level, this 34.12. That's going to be our next big level for a breakout to the upside. And that's going to correlate over here with this 30.44 area on gold. So again, we're going to be looking, if we get this big rally and it continues up above 34.10, call it, in silver, then gold should be trying to make a pretty solid move up to 30.44, 30.50, maybe even quite a bit higher. So we're going to see how this all plays out here. But right now, getting some real solid accumulation in metals to the upside. And as you know, I really think metals really want to make a big move up into 33, 34, 3,500 for gold, and for silver up into like $44, $48 for silver. We just had a lot of pressure lately with the unwinding of the markets. And again, I think this coiling pressure is going to explode to the upside. We'll see how it plays out. Lastly, we're going to come over here to Bitcoin. Bitcoin had reached my 88,000 level. I'm going to come down to 4-hour. Bitcoin had reached my 88,000 level and right up over in here. There's my little 88,000 right there. And what I want you to realize is I believe that we're topping. I believe that we're rolling into a topping phase, and we should be rolling down into the next cycle pattern. Now, if my research is correct, this is drawn a little incorrectly. And this is actually a little closer. So we had that peaking pattern around the 21st, and normally we can get a couple of days after. The 21st was Friday, so the one day after was Monday, and now we're, on Bitcoin, it trades 24/7, but ideally, guys, I'm kind of looking for the breakdown, the rollover to take place over here, and then roll down into that early April time frame and then roll down into that May, June time frame. So this is very cleanly aligned with that breakdown. And I would think that we would be getting into the rollover top by about the 27th, 28th, kind of like that area. So really by the 27th, 28th of this week, which is really only a day and a half, 2 days away, I believe we're rolling back downward, rolling down into this breakdown level. And 88,000's down here. And now that we've reached this top, I think we've lost all momentum, and we're going to carry all the way back down into this area. So, really, it's a lower low. And then ultimately, we're going to come down to this $64,000 level. So we're going to play this out. And the reason this all works out like this, guys, is this next breakdown is probably going to be an ABC pattern. You can already kind of see it. A, B, C, down to what would be considered this first ultimate low, which is really just the consolidation pattern of this breakout. This flag right here is, when we look at it now, we're moving below the flag with an A, B, C. Then we move into consolidation here. That is the current phase of downward trending off of this, let's call it secondary excess phase peak. So understand that the primary excess phase peak sets the first ultimate low here. The secondary excess phase peak, which is this one, here's the primary, or the first, sets the ultimate low back out over here. Second ultimate low. So once we get into this consolidation, which is this light blue line, we'll roll into a deeper channel back over here, possibly $34,000 to $40,000 as the ultimate low right down here in this area. And I know it seems crazy, but yes, you can predict price going out 5, 6, 12 months using these techniques. And remember, I'm just using a 4-hour chart. If I do this on a daily or a weekly, I can predict out 1 or 2 years maybe. Okay, well, that's about it. Let's go see how the markets react today. Currently, markets are up just a little bit. Dow Jones is up quite a bit. Well, that was yesterday. I don't see it changing yet. Everything is up moderately. And like I told you, I think we're going to end up kind of in this mild rolling topping pattern today. So really, we come back over here and we look. We're right up into this mild rolling topping, and I'm telling you, 577, 578 is probably going to be the top today. Maybe 580, but 577, 578 is probably going to be the top today. Okay, guys, go get some. I'm going to work on my cup of coffee here. And again, watch metals. Metals look really interesting if we clear this first level. 30, 33 roughly on gold, 34, 10 or 12 or 15 on silver. If we get a big rally up above that level, then I think we're going to be off to the races to the upside. Okay, guys, go get some. Talk to you later.